Hello, it's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight. LUSAKA man found dead in NGWENYA Dam as KUKU residents improvise in expectance of floods. A dispute erupts in KABWATA constituency following ward elections. State House denies plotting the arrests of former government officials. In international news, thousands fill stadium to support new military recruits in Ethiopia. And in sports news, MWEPU and DAKA lead squad for Mauritania and Tunisia ties.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome once again, another news in detail. A 54-year-old United Party for National Development UPND councillor Mwangala Sililo has been murdered by unknown persons in Sananga district. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga says police have established that the deceased left home on the 4th of November 2021 at around 16 hours, where he went to the plains to check on his animals as per daily routine. Mr. Hamonga says wife to the deceased phoned her husband at around 19 hours but did not get any response. He says the wife and his son-in-law, Lubinda, then decided to follow him. Upon arrival at the plain, they discovered his body facing downwards with 2 deep cuts on his head and a deep cut on the right eye. An axe is alleged to have been used in the act. He says the body of the deceased has since been deposited in Sananga General Hospital mortuary awaiting post-mortem. Police are investigating the matter. Mr. Hamonga says investigations have been launched. The body of a man identified as Joseph Molenga, aged 50, of Kapochi area, was discovered floating in NGWENYA Dam of KUKU Misisi compound in LUSAKA Friday morning by residents. Police say the man was last seen on the 4th of November 2021 at around 16:30 hours in a drunken state near NGWENYA Dam. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga says they visited the scene and found the body floating in NGWENYA Dam. With the help of the fire brigade, the body was retrieved around 11:30 hours. Meanwhile, according to the residents, the body was spotted at around 10 hours in the morning by a group of people who went to fetch water from the same dam. They have since reminded authorities to put up a fence, adding that attempts to address issues surrounding the dam have not come to fruition. More in this report.
Residents of Misisi compound in LUSAKA were hit with shock Friday morning after they discovered the body of a man floating in NGWENYA Dam, which is only a stone's throw away from houses. The dam has been in the news for many years now, as various bodies have been found here, both young and old, and residents have expressed fear for their lives. They state that the said body was discovered around 10 hours Friday morning by some people who went to fetch water from the dam, as it is used for various activities, including washing of clothes.
Bantu bafera maningi kuri betandizo kuno bantu daily bamwera apamena daily ati bantu bali pangwenyi.
They have expressed concern that despite various promises that the dam will be fenced off, nothing has been done to date. They add that various people have been found in the dam, including those said to have drowned, as well as suspected murder victims.
Because banakamba kuti ingwenya akamba tikuli muntu amana gula banakumba na foundation but ingwenya simangiwa. So ife tifuna ti government ngwenya imangiwe bantu ni bambiri no kuyambira January bantu bamene baferapo stinga pende no penda ni bambiri maningi kulwena ngwama payiwa bachokera kuchawama babwera kubatayira mwamene omu kwa Kanyama ku John Lenge babwera kubatayira mwamene omu so effective pembe kuli government yanganepo pali ichi chingwenya ngati ni kumanga offense bamange offense baikena banchito akutoka zichilonda ichi
tamati tifuna okambirapo mavuto ya chiramu banamba kudala tizamanga kali ma president yangati amene achokapo siachitapo volongoso pali ingwenya hii bantu bakufa kuseni na mzuba isetalema mwandini government yanyoa ni yanganepo ndiye chatina votela mavuto ya chiramu kuno kungwenya
bantu bachiramu kudumwira umu baika kwanza beke kwa offense kapela bantu bazaleka po kudumwira papa talema kuona vitumbi.
Fire rescue services in the company of the Lusaka City Council LCC were on hand to retrieve the body. Police spokesperson Reha Monga says the police have been notified of the incident. The body has since been deposited in the University Teaching Hospital UTH awaiting postmortem, and investigations into the matter have been launched. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The residents of Lusaka's KUKU Misisi compound in Chawama constituency are fearful that the anticipated floods will compel them to abandon their houses. The residents say they have fewer demands to make to the United Party for National Development administration, considering that they have just formed government. Meanwhile, in anticipation of the looming catastrophe, the residents have started extending their houses and increasing the ground level to avert floods. Patrick Soko reports.
This is the flood-prone area. This was the situation in the year 2020. And this is the location where the tents provided by the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, were placed. But most of the landlords are likely to reoccupy this land as rains intensify.
The Zambian government has been urged to put in place stringent measures when electing people who will manage and supervise constituency development funds (CDF), now that the allocation has increased from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha to ensure that these funds are used prudently. Governance Elections Advocacy Research GEAR's Executive Director McDonald Chipenzi has also called for an amendment of the CDF Act to be amended in order for the role of the council to be made more effective to ensure that the money is not wasted. This call follows an uprising by residents of Kamala Ward 5 who delivered a petition to the town clerk at the Lusaka City Council Friday, calling for nullification of the recently held ward development elections in the ward, stating that the election was fraudulent. We have more in this report.
Wrangles have emerged in Kamala Ward 5 in Lusaka as residents say that some of those elected into the Ward Development Committee to oversee the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) at the sub-district level are not from the said ward and are politically aligned to named political parties. The residents who went to lodge a petition before the town clerk at the Lusaka City Council (LCC) have demanded for the election to be nullified, stating that they were misinformed about the time the election was to take place on Thursday, only to be informed that Ward Development Committee members had been elected.
My election mailo benzo kambati we are going to be communicated to Ntau Inangu, which is going to be communicated, but all of a sudden they were quiet until it was 11:30. That's when they said no, my election to civic center. How do we organize? Then when we are told that it has been postponed, and then they went ahead. So meaning our bantu amene babwela panaimirira mailo tukamba kuti siba muwadi abantu situbaziba tuona kuti bali ku negative of development. They don't want us to develop Kamala Ward 5.
Meanwhile, Governance Elections Advocacy Research Services GEAR's Executive Director Mr. McDonald Chipenzi has called for the process of electing Ward Development Committee members to be depoliticized.
Yeah, the CDF issue is a very important issue now that more money have gone to CDF, and we expect that stringent measures will be put in place, both in terms of electing people that will manage and supervise the management of this CDF. If we allow the previous system to continue, then we are likely to see a lot of politicization in the election of WDCs, that is Ward Development Committee, who are also key to the utilization, management, and indeed monitoring of the CDF.
He asked that there needs to be an amendment of the CDF Act and for the role of the council to be made more effective in order to stop wastage of the said funds.
The Member of Parliament who is instrumental in the electing, in the constitution of CDF committee must now have a redefined role so that those people in the CDF are not appointed by the Member of Parliament, but they are appointed by respective sectors. For example, a member of the community should choose and not the Member of Parliament. The civil society, NGO, should not be chosen by a Member of Parliament. It must be from the civil society.
Minister of Finance and National Planning Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwani, during the 2022 National Budget presentation, announced an increase in CDF funds from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
State House has refuted allegations suggesting that it orchestrated the recent arrests of people that served in the previous government. Speaking when he addressed the media Friday, Special Assistant to the President for Press and Public Relations, Anthony Bwalia, says President Hakainde Hichilema has made it clear that law enforcement agencies will operate independently and without interference from the government. Mr. Bwalia said the new administration has since allowed the law enforcement agencies to carry out their duties professionally. We have more in the following report.
In a recent past, the nation has seen a number of operations by investigative wings, mostly on those who are seemingly associated to the Patriotic Front. This comes with a popular wonder to what or who is behind these investigations. On Friday, November 5th, 2021, State House has refuted allegations suggesting that it orchestrated the recent arrest of people that served in the previous government. Special Assistant to the President for Press and Public Relations, Anthony Walia, says this when he addressed the media at State House.
On the issue of arrests being orchestrated from State House, those are falsehoods. We've repeatedly said that how crime is fought, how corruption is fought is not a matter for State House. We have independent law enforcement institutions in the SEC and the police who have a constitutional mandate to fulfill their various legislative obligations. State House has no role, no part in that, and we have no appetite in that. Our job and responsibility is to ensure that these various law enforcement agencies are supported the right way, given the autonomy and independence to function, supported the right way with resources so that they can improve and expand on staffing requirements, and also propping up the technical expertise of their staff to allow them combat and decisively deal with the complex crimes that keep on popping up and evolving within the context of our society. So absolutely no hand from State House. We're not interested in that.
Meanwhile, on President Hakainde Hichilema's recent trip to Scotland, where he attended the COP26 summit, Mr. Walia says that the move shows Zambia's resolve to fight climate change.
Now, it's also important for us to note that climate change tends to have a consequence on the food security status of our people, because it also has a tendency of increasingly impacting on food prices, and therefore exacerbating the food security situation for our people. Now, we also want to note that President Hichilema, as a democratically elected leader, who now is increasingly earning his respect on the global leadership stage, is ideally placed to fight for the interest of not just the Zambian people, but also those of our colleagues across the continent. And this is exactly what he has been doing.
Zambia has since signed the COP26 leaders' pledge to end deforestation by 2030. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Swedish Ambassador to Zambia, Anna Maj Hartgard, has charged that the pre-August 2021 election environment did not provide a level playing field for the opposition political parties. Speaking at the launch of the CSO's election report, the ambassador says the country also witnessed a shrinking space and freedom for CSOs and those with diverging views against the then-ruling Patriotic Front Party. Meanwhile, ActionAid Zambia Country Director Nalu Changanga has challenged civil society organizations to continue to protect and expand political space for like-minded civil society organizations to participate in democratic decision-making. More in the following report.
Zambia went to the polls on 12 August 2021, which saw the opposition United Party for National Development UPND emerge victorious, beating the then-ruling Patriotic Front Party with over 1 million votes. While the August 2021 general election have been described as one of the most highly contested elections, with 16 candidates vying for the highest political office of the land, Swedish ambassador to Zambia has alleged that the pre-election environment did not provide a leveled playing field for the opposition. The ambassador says the country also witnessed a shrinking space and freedom for CSOs and those with diverging views. The ambassador was speaking at the launch of the CSO election report compiled by ActionAid in Lusaka.
This was done in a tense pre-election environment, shrinking space and freedoms for CSOs and those with divergent views, disinformation and hate speech online and in the media. Unequal application of laws that limited opposition groups' ability to campaign for equally and restrictions on campaigning for the opposition parties due to COVID-19. It was simply not a level playing field.
The ambassador says it is, however, encouraging to note that there was a huge vote turnout, which was mostly characterized by the youths who said no to a shrinking democratic space, which was demonstrated by voting out the party that was in power.
All these efforts and the coordinatory role ActionAid Zambia played contributed immensely to ensure that the will of the people prevailed and a just democratic process was upheld. However, there is still room for more women and young people to be in key decision-making positions, as the current numbers indicate that more needs to be done in this aspect.
And the political activist Lee Habasaka says what was experienced in the previous regime should not repeat itself in a democratic country such as Zambia, where a majority of the opposition political parties had their rights infringed by those who held power.
Deciding that they must deploy military on the streets because that creates new connotations in the minds of the voters. And does, to a certain extent, instill fear in the voters. But I must say, as a recommendation, that we hope the Electoral Commission of Zambia going forward will engage stakeholders.
And Action Aid Zambia Country Director Naluchanganga has challenged civil society organizations to continue to protect and expand political space for like-minded civil society organizations to participate in democratic decision-making, as well as to influence and to hold the government and corporate accountable. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A non-governmental organization has called on the private sector to step up and support the Zambian government in the fight against the coronavirus, especially with the impending fourth wave that is expected to hit the country in December 2021. Speaking to Camnet News, Astria Learning Chief Executive Officer Dr. Jeff Boards says the education sector needs extra support as it has been one of the most affected areas, hence causing regression to strides made. He was speaking after handing over 330,000 face masks to the Ministry of Technology and Science on Friday for redistribution to institutions and students under the ministry.
Today we're here at the Ministry of Science and Technology to donate about 1 million masks. Only 330,000 will stay at the ministry, the rest will go to 2 other ministries to ensure that we're supporting the fight against COVID-19. And it is our pleasure to be here. My team and I flew here to meet with Permanent Secretary Mrs. Siame to donate these masks to ensure that the learners and lecturers in the rural areas are actually able to meet without jeopardizing their own health. These masks are important, and I think it's going to keep a lot of people safe. And our goal is to continue supporting the government of Zambia to ensure that we get through this together. We're from the private sector, but we also understand the importance of the private sector's role in supporting the government and achieving their goals. So it's a pleasure to be here. It's always great to be in Zambia, and we look forward to seeing how else my team and I can be of service to supporting the people here.
Innovators exhibiting at the National Technology and Innovation Fair have demonstrated that Zambia has the capacity to engineer innovations that can transform the Zambian economy. Speaking to Camnet News, engineer Enoch Mwanza has engineered an electric-powered engine that can be used to replace the fuel-powered engines and enable the vehicle to move normally. And a computer science graduate has invented an electric toilet that allows the toilet to perform the functions that are performed manually, such as sanitizing and detecting the amount of water available in the system.
The National Technology and Innovation Fair being held in Lusaka has demonstrated that Zambia is full of innovators whose innovations have the capacity to transform the country. The Camnet TV crew took time to speak to some of the interesting innovators, which, if well supported, can make Zambia become the preferred destination for innovations.
We came up with a conversion system where we're converting from fuel-powered vehicles to electric-powered vehicles. So what we have here is a prototype of the whole system, how it works. From the battery power source, we convert it to AC, and the AC is the one that drives the motor. In this case, we also manufacture a control. The control is the one that controls the speed and other components of the vehicle.
This innovation so that it should be able to solve some of the problems that we face in Zambia with regard to how we manage water in toilets and how we can reduce the number of diseases that emanate from toilets, such as the communicable infectious diseases like fibroids, streptococcus and all that.
For Rebecca Chonya, who is recycling plastics to create handbags and other interesting items, ensuring that climate change is dealt with is a #1 priority, and says this cannot be done unless people take a step.
Everything that you see here is made from recyclable material to the specific plastic. So majorly we just sort out garbage and household plastic and we turn them into what you see here. So it's called basically our mission statement is unapologetic trash turned treasure.
While the innovations are a marvel, the innovators are faced with various challenges in actualizing their innovations, among them lack of resources and support.
Investors, funders can come forward so that in the end we are able to produce these facilities and be used in reality and generate money and be able to contribute to the GDP.
The challenge we have to start with is financing. It's a bit of financing. We're able to make controllers plus the needed components because we're not importing these. That's what we're using locally made things.
While many of these innovations have remained on prototype, it would be important for stakeholders and cooperating partners to take time and interact with the minds behind the ideas.
Whenever somebody wants to start up a business, it's a hassle. It's a serious hassle. Why? Because every institution that lends money that you're going to go to, they're going to want you to have some sort of collateral. When you're a young person like me, you don't have a home, you don't have property, but you have a dream. It's impossible for you to get started because every lending institution also has massive interests that you can't even be able to pay back even if you used your life. You understand?
With the new Dawn government now introducing the Ministry of Science and Technology as well as Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise, supporting such innovations will help solve many society challenges. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator, and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market. Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. The Zambian government has collected a total of 6,303,000,000 kwacha in toll fees from 2016 to August 2021 through the National Road Fund Agency. Finance Minister Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane explains that despite the toll fees being meant for road development, it is not adequate to respond to sector challenges that the country is facing. Dr. Msokotwane has also stated that paying contractors that worked on the roads has become difficult because the previous administration did not consider how much money they had in the treasuries before engaging contractors. The minister informed Parliament during questions for oral answers session this morning that the Katuba Toll Plaza recorded the highest amount of the fees collected.
Madam Speaker, regarding question number B, or part B of the question, the toll plaza which has collected the highest amount since 2016 is the Katuba Toll Plaza, Katuba Toll Plaza. And Madam Speaker, under C, as of August 2021, there was no toll station under construction in the country.
Auditor General Dick Sichembe has noted that the absence of transparency and accountability, it is difficult to achieve good governance and prudent management of public resources. Dr. Sichembe says following the issuance of the report, his office is of the considered view that it should not be an end but the beginning of serious work to bring to account those that are cited in the report. He adds that the statement by President Hakainde Hichilema on the need to cut all wastage, especially in procurement systems, demonstrates the importance he attaches to prudent management of public resources. In the meantime, Parliament is deliberating on the report of the Auditor General on the accounts of parastatal bodies and statutory institutions for the financial year ended 31st December 2019.
The report of the Auditor General's accounts on the Republic for the financial year ended 31st December 2020 and the report of the Auditor General on the accounts of the parastatal bodies and statutory institutions for the financial year ended 31st December 2019, which were issued on 30th September 2021, are currently being deliberated on at Parliament. Following the issuance of the reports, the public have been made aware of the audit findings. This, in our view, should not be an end in itself, but the beginning of serious cause to bring to account those that are cited in the report. This task cannot be achieved without you partnering with us to highlight the issues that we raise. I therefore encourage you to take keen interest in the various reports that we issue, which will be explained to you in due course.
The Timber Producers Association of Zambia has called on the government to revisit the Forest Act No. 4 of 2015 in order to bring sanity to the timber industry. In an interview with Camnet News, the association president Charles Masanje says now that the country has the Ministry of Environment and Green Economy, there is a need to pay attention to forests. Mr. Masanje explains that the reason why the timber industry seems disorganized is due to poor management. We have more in the following report.
Of course, we appreciate the government's efforts in bringing sanity in the timber industry. Of course, as timber producers, we have been crying to all these governments MMD, PF, only UNIP followed the Forest Act. And all these governments have been impounding trucks every day because it seems they have put the Forest Act on the shelves. The Forest Act stipulates the way the sawmilling industry is supposed to operate under Forest Act number 4 of 2015. Now, it seems our Forest Act, which was reviewed in 2015 from the one which was in 1973, has been shelved.
Acting Petauke District Commissioner William Tembo has dispelled media reports suggesting that hundreds of bags of maize stuck in various depots in the rural parts of Petauke have been soaked by the rains. Mr. Tembo tells Camnet News in Petauke today that none of the maize at any depot has gone to waste as reported in some sections of the media because the district has not yet experienced any rainfall. He said the Food Reserve Agency FRA has managed to purchase 40,000 metric tons of maize which has been safely packed and stored as per required standard and not soaked as reported. And Petauke District Agricultural Coordinator Mwaba Lubasi said all the maize in various storages are secured and government would soon pay farmers who sold maize to the agency.
I wish to dispel what appeared in one of the daily tabloids today with regards to activities of the Food Reserve Agency in Petauke District, where it was reported that 100 of bags of maize have gone to waste after being soaked by rains. That report is less than factual because in Petauke District rains are yet to come, and it is not true that we have farmers who are yet to be saved by the Food Reserve Agency, because in all the depots in the district we received an instruction that we should clear all the farmers who were already at the depots as at 5th October 2021. So by 31st of October, we had cleared the last farmer, and the last market to do that was Kaumbwe market. So as at today, or within the last week, there is no market where there is a farmer who is waiting to be saved or waiting for empty grain bags. Therefore, that report is not true and is less than factual, and it is not representative of the facts on the ground.
You're watching Camnet TV and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. Has so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all three tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lesotho, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed, and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. And in international news, thousands of Ethiopians filled a stadium in the capital, Addis Ababa, to show their support for new military recruits as the country's year-long war escalates quickly. Meanwhile, a United Nations report suggests 75% of all emerging infectious diseases are zoonotic, which means illnesses that jumped from animals to humans. Most of them come from the tropics, where meat from wild animals is widely consumed. Here's a roundup of news beyond our borders.
Thousands of Ethiopians filled a stadium on Thursday in the capital Addis Ababa to show their support for new military recruits as the country's year-long war escalates quickly. The Ethiopian government, led by the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, has vowed to unite and marshal the country's military and other volunteers to crush the Tigray and the Oromo forces. We are not a generation that spoils history. My generation and I will all march to the battlefield to overcome the challenge. There is no victory without sacrifice. As Ethiopia marks 1 year war against Tigrayan forces and their allies, the United States and other countries are calling for an immediate ceasefire and accountability for those accused of human rights abuses. The U.S. has urged its citizens to leave the country.
We again urge all private American citizens to take advantage of the commercial air options that continue to be available in and out of the capital city, Addis Ababa, to leave. We are encouraging them to do that very strongly.
Ethiopia's parliament ratified the country's state of emergency Thursday by an overwhelming majority as rival Tigray forces threatened to move on the capital as the country's year-long war escalates quickly. The state of emergency will last for 6 months.
Inside a wet market in Liberia's capital, Monrovia, a father is searching for his daughter's killer. 5 years ago, during the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, his 4-year-old daughter died of the disease. A virus he believes is dormant in our midst. Here, fresh bushmeat is sold from bats, raccoons, elephants, and apes. Evidence for Prince Wallace that Ebola may resurface.
There are fears that Ebola may reoccur, so some are not eating bushmeat, but many others are not taking it seriously, and they keep consuming it. You can see how much bushmeat is being sold in the market.
More than 11,000 people in West Africa died during the Ebola outbreak. Most of the deaths were in Liberia. Scientists do not know for sure where the virus came from, but like the SARS-CoV-2 virus, also known as COVID, they believe Ebola is a zoonotic disease, a deadly and highly infectious virus that jumped from animals to humans, perhaps in a wet market like this one. Liberia's Guinean forest region is home to a rich and sought-after wildlife, the habitat of endangered species such as the pygmy hippos, western chimps, and pangolins are all considered delicacies in Liberia and China, where they are also consumed. Some of these animals have similarities to humans and act as reservoirs to viruses. The lack of animal rights or environmental laws have attracted both poachers, but also scientists who have used Liberian chimps as guinea pigs. On these islands are hundreds of chimpanzees abandoned by American scientists who have used the animals for biomedical research, infecting them with pathogens such as hepatitis in order to develop vaccines for humans. Now, for Liberian scientists and researchers, this is not only an act of animal cruelty, it's also dangerous. It poses a risk of the spread of zoonotic diseases. At Liberia's Infectious Disease Institute, scientists fear the worst is yet to come. Zoonotic diseases are jumping from animals to humans and then back to animals. In the process, viruses are likely to become more virulent, putting both humans and endangered species at risk.
Look at the climate. Some of these diseases are sprouting up in places that otherwise people may not have been thinking about. And besides our interaction with animals, I really expect that in the future, we're going to have more and more of these zoonotic diseases.
Tasty and sweet is how this seller describes the ape meat sold for only $2. Wallace believes this growing consumption is responsible for the death of his daughter Esther. He's convinced that somewhere in here, lurking is the virus. Who will it kill next, he wonders. Nicholas Honk, Al Jazeera, Monrovia.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, Zambia national team head coach Beston Chambeshi has named a 27-member squad for the back-to-back Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Mauritania and Tunisia. Chambeshi has named a strong squad led by English Premier League duo of striker Patson Daka and midfielder Enoch MWEPU. FC Rangers star Fashion Sakala, Evans Kangwa, Sweden-based duo of winger Edward Chilufya and midfielder Emmanuel Banda Jr. have all made the cut. Shemuel Academy and former Zambia under-17 captain Miguel Chaiwa has been handed a call-up. Tostan Sabata has also been roped in after some impressive performances for Sekhukhune FC in the South African DStv Premiership. The team will enter camp on Sunday with foreign-based players expected to trickle in on Monday. Zambia hosts Mauritania on November 13 at National Heroes Stadium in Lusaka before trekking away to Tunis for the concluding Group B match 3 days later. To end the news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. LUSAKA man found dead in NGWENYA Dam as KUKU residents improvise in expectance of floods. A dispute erupts in KABWATA constituency following ward elections. State House denies plotting the arrests of former government officials. In international news, thousands fill stadium to support new military recruits in Ethiopia. And in sports news, MWEPU and DAKA lead squad for Mauritania and Tunisia ties. The common word verse of the day is coming from the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 16. All scripture is inspired by God and is profitable for teaching, for rebuking, for correcting, and for training in righteousness. Thank you for watching. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.